There's usually like a 1 minute delay on it.
No,
2-second delay.
It's like an 8-second delay.
I mean, whatever. I got it up. I'll let you know when we're live.
Okay, you don't see it?
Nope, I just see a big HFM waiting for Hybrid Fitness Media.
There you go.
All right, welcome everybody. As you can tell from these unbelievable graphics that are 98% in progress, this is the weekly hybrid live show. As I'm famous for not being as smart as I am first thing in the morning, we're doing this later in the day to get more and more of you after work, before or after your workout. I've got Ugly Dave. I've got the hybrid engine coach himself, Anthony Parasini. Welcome to the program, fellas.
Thanks for having us back, Matt.
It's another Bonnie day.
Well, we have so much to cover this week, but I think we can get it all in. And I wanted to briefly start, as you can tell, with my first topic, which is the fitness of the hosts. That would be the three of us. Now, Anthony did something amazing last week, or last time the three of us were together, right? Or was that last week?
It was last weekend.
Right. And I have been, quote unquote, trying to get back to fitness for who knows how many months now. So I thought, man, if I'm on here and I'm holding myself slightly accountable here, it might help. It might not. I could still be completely lazy, but I thought I would update my fitness. You two could talk about where you are. You are in your fitness journey. It's just a good way to for me to help me keep accountable and let folks know where we're at. We're not just talking about this stuff. We're not just shooting arrows at everybody. We're out here trying the fitness. So I will start and say that I committed to working out 3 times a week, and I successfully worked out once and ran once. So I'm giving myself a C-, not quite a D. But listen, we're starting somewhere.
What was your run and what was your workout?
So the workout is this DEKA workout, which I keep improving upon, right? I started with just the Rams and the heaviest farmer's carry weight we had was 20 pounds each hand. I've now bumped that up to 35 because I went to buy something for my son. I went to buy something for my son, and I was at the sporting store, and there was just these weights hanging out. So I moved up to that. And I don't know why I didn't think of this sooner, but I wasn't doing the overs. And now I do a 50-pound over with the brute force bag. I know that it's 60 for DEKA, but again, we're starting somewhere. And those are almost as horrible as the burpees, I've come to realize. Unlike the burpees, though, they take a little bit longer to feel horrible. Like the burpees, just like, fuck, I'm doing these burpees, right? This is obviously with the RAM. And also I should say that when I started, I think I used the 33 for everything. And now I use the proper ones. So for the reverse lunges, I use 44 for men, and for the 55, and for the I work out with a crumpled sheet of paper written out because I forget every time.
Nice.
I'm doing it with the correct weights. And so the burpees, you're just kind of like you're in it and you know it sucks. Those overs, I feel awesome for about 7. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I'm doing work. And then it's really painful. So I want to do that 3 times a week.
That's a good start.
That's how you build your home gym, though, is you start with the lighter weights, what was affordable, like you start, and then you're like, all right, I got to get a little bit better. So now I add some little bit heavier weights, a little bit newer equipment, and you start to use that, and then you start bumping up again. That's exactly how ours started. It starts with one piece and it just keeps building. Well,
if that's how world champion Lauren Weeks and pretty good hybrid athlete dropping a sub-3 marathon and then 3 wheels for 3:15 can do it, then I can do it.
You forgot he's also coach of James Kelly.
And coach of James. Oh, we'll get to that.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying that's like burying the lead there. That's where it's at.
Right.
Hey, my first weight for my home gym was actually a 50-pound bucket of sand.
Okay. Well, I had a sandbag. I made one way back in the day, but I never really worked out with it. It was just, hey, let's go up Stone Mountain with it. It was never like a workout implement. So anyways, that's where I'm at. Dave, anything you want to report on fitness-wise this week? Oh, and I signed up for a DEKA Strong. I signed up for my second DEKA Mile, so I got to improve on my time. Going back to the same gym. Clayton and I are going back to it. So more on that later. But I went putting something on the calendar.
Yeah, I've been busy. I did a couple things. I actually did a thing where I did a hip tap pull-up challenge. So as many hip tap pull-ups as you can do in 60 seconds, which is just my own challenge because I saw the athlon that you talked to, and they had the flex arm hang, which I think is absolutely fine. It's a good challenge, but everybody was like hanging their chin on there and essentially became like, to me, looked like a who can choke himself the longest. So I'm like, I would rather do the hip tap pull-ups because I think that's a
could you explain? We might have some newer listeners what a hip tap pull-up is.
So you grab any pull-up bar in the pronated grip. So
I'm sorry, come on now.
Hands facing away from you, palms facing away, and then
what's this? Supinated?
Supinated.
Think of it like this, Matt.
Like the bowl of soup.
Holding a can of soup, pouring a can of soup.
That's right.
Holding a can of soup, pouring a can of soup.
So you grab with two hands in a full dead hang, release with one hand, tap your hip, put your hand back on, do a pull-up. That's one rep. So every rep you have to release your hand, tap your hip, and do a full pull-up. And it kind of ensures full extension. And it stops butterfly pull-ups. Butterfly pull-ups are cool, and they have their spot. But for this, I'm more curious to see strict pull-up.
Okay, so you did this challenge.
Yeah, I did. I got 12 in a minute. Now, I think I could have got faster, but at that time, actually, I wasn't even planning to do a minute. I was just seeing how many I could do. So I did that, but that was fun. And then I did a strong ruck sim, a DEKA strong ruck sim, and that went pretty good.
So you did the actual equivalent of a DEKA strong.
Yeah,
like the workouts in order.
Yep.
In your house, you have all these implements?
No, at the gym I work at.
Okay. And with how much weight is required? 30
pound backpack.
Okay. Are you currently a AG world record holder or a Canadian AG world record holder? Where are you on the leaderboard?
The time was not official because it was not an official event.
Okay.
So had it been an official event, I would be an AG world record holder.
Let's go.
And I think I would be third for men on the leaderboard. But let's just keep in mind the ruck leaderboard is very sparse.
Hey man, you go where you can excel. I set an FKT that no one had tried yet. So
it was good. I actually really enjoyed it. I think I had not practiced it. I just decided to give it a shot, and it was pretty good. I think the extra weight suits me a little bit. So,
how soon before you go to a gym with the word farm fitness or grit in it to make it official?
28th.
Okay, of this month.
Yes, 28th of this month. But I have RX1 this weekend first.
Okay,
hence, I am wearing an RX1 shirt today.
Okay, we will talk about RX1.
Yeah,
that'll be down. That'll be under the 40 thing.
Drop down to 40.
Be under that.
Gotcha. So yeah, so I'm doing well. I've been getting ready for this race, so I'm feeling fairly fit right now. Eating extra pizza so that I'll be extra prepared.
Hybrid Engine Coach AP. Anything fitness wise you want to report in the last 7 days?
Well, I was mostly recovering the last 7 days. My weekly mileage before my marathon was up like 50 to 55 for a few months. And now this week it was like 26. So it was like did a marathon over the whole week instead of just at one time. And then mostly I've been just basically running and benching for like 2 months. I decided 2 days ago that I was like, I'm just gonna jump in and do everything that I programmed for our pro track. And I got in there and I got pretty sore yesterday because I just haven't been doing the movements. So I was pretty sore yesterday. Did more of it today though. I'll go for a run tonight, and I need to get something else on the calendar. Look forward to like what my next thing's gonna be. But for right now, we're gonna go to Anaheim this weekend, and then we'll it's prep for Worlds. So
what are you doing in Anaheim this weekend?
The DEKA FIT.
Okay. All right. We'll have to get to that too then. Well, I guess we'll have something to talk about next week. All right. Let's jump into the next topic. So Cologne results. We want to start with the men or the women. What would you like to talk about first, Dave?
Oh, I got the men's results up on my phone, so go with that.
Okay. I guess I interviewed James, and I meant to get the whole thing up before this call, but I didn't. Had a busy day today, which I can talk more about later. But he did say at least one thing that I got to put up that was very interesting. What did you think about the popcorn post I put up on Sunday?
Where the only person that hadn't called him was Hunter?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know. I know James is really excited. I talked to him today and over the weekend too, but he did completely awesome. But if you're a Hunter, like competitive wise, anybody really, would you reach out to your competitor and be like, hey, awesome time, I'm still gonna beat you, or you're gonna try to say something? I don't understand. Like, would they comment and want to have that dialogue, or would they actually just, oh, great time, okay, see you at Worlds? That's the approach.
I mean, he's saying everybody else did. He's saying all the top guys. I mean, I think the bigger part was what I was going to say insinuated, but actually said, which was Hunter knows we're coming. And the rest of that quote was, hey, it's not just one guy. It's not just I have to watch out for Alex. It's I have to watch out for the field.
Yeah, I don't think when they compete this year, it's not going to be like last year where if Hunter cramps up at the end, he just kind of coasts and just tries to finish and does wall balls and sets. He's not going to have that luxury this year. No. That's for sure. There's going to be people on his heels coming after him. And it's absolutely true that, like, if you want to be the champ, you got to beat the champ. And he's been dominant. So, but there are a lot of people that have closed that gap this year, and there's more than one. And I think there's, legitimately 4 or 5 people that are going to really make it a good race and put some pressure on him. And we're going to see, if it's going to be about racing, or if Hunter's, if he'll crack. Like, honestly, if you go look at it, the only 2 times Hunter's been beaten in a Hyrox was 2021 Worlds, and the U.S. Championships against Kent, I think, was in 2022. And Kent had him beat almost the whole race. Like, I think it was in the burpee broad jumps from there on. Hunter never caught up. In Leipzig in 2021, Toby beat him after the sleds. He never caught up. So the question is going to be, is the field, are those 4 or 5 guys going to be ready to pressure Hunter after the sleds? And how is he going to respond? And that'll be very telling for the race.
He's not the type that you see have the comeback.
No,
it's like
he leads.
He leads and he finishes, or he gets finished. And the only other time I can think of that I can see where he didn't come through was the other time. I think it was in Anaheim with him and Kent went out, and he went out too hot and ended up dropping out.
Yeah, we've seen him drop out of a couple of races, but I don't think he's there in those races. Like, I don't think it's because he's not ahead or something.
Yeah.
I think it's because he goes out and tries to test a world record pace or a pace that he wants to set. And if it's not right, or it's not feeling good at that time, he drops. And that I don't really count those as, failed attempts or anything. He's there to do one purpose. And if it's not going to happen, he drops out of the race for that.
Yeah, I think you're right about James Kelly, though. What he's done is he's added his name to a list of guys. And there's no question Hunter's still the favorite, odds on. But he's added his list to a name of guys that if he falters in the least, will be there to pounce. I mean, you think of him, you think of Kent, you think of Dylan Scott, you think of Ronkovich. Like, there's a lot of guys now that are there that he can't afford to make a mistake, whereas before he possibly could.
Well, and we know that, like, who's going to be trying things. Rylan has come out and said, I'm going to run and dare him to stay with me. Like, there's going to be, and Rylan is arguably faster. So he's going to be there, like, run with me. Come on, let me see you
But
do
has
it.
What Hyrox training is Rylan focusing on the last 3 months?
I don't think he needs to. He has a broad general fitness, and if he goes,
you don't think he needs to?
If he goes with like a 4 to 6 week, just like, okay, I got to touch on these skills going into it. His engine and his broad general fitness will carry him very far.
Okay.
And he's super solid on the machines. Like he puts his time in on the machines.
I mean,
if Rylan shows up, I want Rylan at his best, not like, oh, I jumped in this and kind of felt like what I would see when I was, because that's how he kind of showed up. I'm just kind of thinking about that's kind of how he showed up to Alula. Like, all right, well, let's see how I do in this. Didn't go great. He kind of dropped. You know what I mean? And that's just, he has a very, athletics isn't my whole life. It's just part of who I am. And so like, kind of like we kind of want to see Chris in a similar way. Like we want to see Chris go all in on something. But he's even more laissez-faire than Chris.
If he's healthy, doesn't have a foot ankle thing going on, and he's out there training and he's just doing his general fitness, I think a 4 week for him, for his race style, the way he does, 4 week prep into something like this would really, really improve him and have him sharp and ready. He already is very good at the machines, very good at running. That's 10 of 16 stations right there. So like all he has to do is, I better do some wall ball and lunge work. And, he's not going to falter on the farmer carries. I bet you he's doing stuff like that already. So there's another station he doesn't really need to do much at, and then go touch the sleds. I mean, burpees are his engine. So where else does he have to do? It is not going to take him a lot of practice for Rylan to get prepared.
The big question with Rylan, though, in all honesty, and this is kind of, I think, what Matt's hinting at is Rylan's a 55-minute Hyrox guy jumping into it. What would he be if he was dialed? What could he possibly? Would all of a sudden Hunter not be the front runner?
I don't think Hunter's going to lead the first lap at Worlds. I don't think, I think Rylan, if he does it the way he did Chicago, he's going to be sitting there daring people to, come on, run with me. Come on, run with me. And Rylan's not going to back off from the ski against Hunter. So you might see Rylan the first one to the sleds. And will that throw Hunter off? Like Tobias, the year that he beat Hunter, he was first to the sleds. He was ahead of him. Like what's going to be the lead,
I don't think Hunter would freak unless he came out of the burpee broad jumps not in the lead.
I don't think he's going to freak. I think the question is he's trying to go, he's talking his 52-minute time.
Yeah.
Well, what if there's somebody out there making him redline too soon? What if there's somebody out there pushing Hunter so hard that like Hunter falls off his pace because he's in the race instead of his time? Like that's going to be the question for him.
Yeah. Well, like you said, there's guys out there that can do it. There's guys that can hit that.
Alex too. Alex could come out hot. It's going to be very interesting on the men's side. And it's one of the first years I've got really interested in the men's side for it.
Honestly, the whole thing could come down to a foot, like a line fault on a sled pull.
Yeah, could be no reps on burpees.
Yeah,
that could be the race.
That one, it would take a couple of no reps on burpees. That one line fault, where you got to go pull the back.
Pull it back.
Like, that could be it.
Oh yeah, that could wreck somebody's race for sure. I don't know. Like this weekend, you saw, if you watch the race recap in Cologne, they were getting penalties on the burpees, but they weren't just telling them like they did to Hunter in Stockholm, like, hey, redo that burpee. They were pulling them back. They were pulling them back behind. Like it was supposed to be, and what we've read before in the rule book, and that's my question, is like, is it supposed to be a 5-meter penalty, or is it supposed to be just be to the last good position you were in?
I thought the rule book said 5 meters.
I did too, but Stockholm with Hunter, he got like 3 no reps where they only made him redo the burpee. Mm-hmm. Linda and DC only had to redo the burpee. And we saw it plenty of times in Cologne, but also in Cologne, that one girl, I think it was Yana, who was leading the burpees, she got pulled back really far. I think she got the full 5-meter penalty when we saw others also just have to redo a burpee. So just that consistency. I'm curious, which direction that's going.
All right. Well, listen, we have plenty more time to talk about the world champs. Let's get back to Cologne. Köln. So James Kelly was predicted by you, the hybrid engine coach, and only 7 other people out of the 30-something predictions we got. So two of the 3 people on this call, most people didn't get any of the top 3. So what do you think happened that Joffrey and Eugenio beat a lot of these men they were not predicted to beat?
I think I got 1 out of the top 6, and that was just James Kelly, getting him right. I think really what it was is that people went for the win, and if they went for the win and they fell short, then it wasn't like a hardest sprint to the finish. It wasn't their best day, so they didn't finish as strong as maybe they could have.
Yeah, I think this was a checker or wreckers race for a lot of the guys, right? It's like, I'm going to win or I'm going to blow up, because winning is all that matters in this one. Second, third, fourth, none of that matters because it's not paying out. It's not going to get me a time qual.
That's the question. Does it matter though? Because if I was Hyrox, what happens if, say, like you said earlier, what if Ryland decides he's not going to Worlds? I would think the roll down should be this LCQ, but the first spot, the last LCQ for the next spot, if there's another spot, back to this one, so that they're even in terms of where the qualification came from.
I follow you, and I agree with you, but I don't think I think they've actually said it goes to the time system, to the next best time. I think so, if I'm remembering correctly. I hope they come out that it should be the LCQ.
What do you mean time? Like from the major qualifications? That's what's going to get bumped up?
Just best time throughout the year. Yeah, same way you'd get into the majors. I know it's a silly system.
All right. Well, we won't get into that too much either.
It's the only thing Anthony and I disagree on.
I don't disagree. There shouldn't be time. I just think it should be taken a different way.
All right. Well, we'll get back to that. So, you said, I forget what you said to me. I think you said everything went according to plan with James, and he ended up just further ahead than he even thought. That's kind of basically what happened, right?
Yeah, I mean, he had the perfect race. He did get no rep on his burpees and he got pulled back pretty far. I think he got a 5-meter penalty. He got pulled back. But I mean, you go and look, he ran a really smart race. We had a comment, but it just disappeared. But I just think James, he ran really smart, and he said he was feeling really good going into the race. He was feeling good during the race, and there's just a moment where it clicks, like I can win this, and that's when you go for it. And we've done some timing stuff and pacing about where he was going to be at during the race, and he got there and decided, I'm feeling faster than that today. So he just kept pushing it, and he pushed it really well, and got to the wall balls and didn't have to pull out anything spectacular. So he took the wall balls really well, finished his race strong, and crossed the line. And just that whole emotion, I mean, you saw it caught up to him, and that's really emotional, where you get the win, you have a great race, like things go the way you need them to. And it's just like, almost for him, like a not a disbelief, because he very much believed he could do it, but like just a relief that, like, I don't have to travel to Anaheim. I've accomplished this stage 1 goal. Like that's important.
You're talking a guy that last year got in like 14 minutes before the race or whatever craziness it was, and performed well. And then this time, so he was like, he's the roll down guy. He's the just get in guy. He's that. This time he is just smashed the door down and said, I am now not just in the race, I'm a player. And that's huge. Like he's changed the outlook of the race now. He
Yeah.
didn't just win this race and he's like, okay, cool. That's like our, 14th seed, right? He changed the game. And
Well, I mean, you don't win a race that has this many guys that have gone sub 60, 18 people sub 60, 13 went sub 60 in the race.
I really don't think 60 is a line we should even talk about.
Yeah, but you don't have a guy win by this quality of a field by 3 minutes. James won by 3 minutes.
Right, but it's also kind of what you said. Everyone just went out to die, and it was either happen or not. So,
but he went out to die too.
Right.
Yeah, but if it's a war of attrition, he didn't just survive it. He dominated it.
So
the haircut.
And I quickly want to say,
aerodynamic.
I quickly want to say, you guys were asking me, or someone was asking me about the prediction, like whether Ryan's time displaces somebody else's, and the answer is no. You didn't pick him. You didn't pick him. Sorry. You could have found out. I mean, we didn't talk about him. I didn't know he was running, but oh well. I'm not gonna.
Should he have been allowed to run?
He definitely should not have been allowed to run. I don't know why they let him in. When I saw his video, he's like, hey, I'm about to go run. In my mind, I was thinking he was running open. Like, he shouldn't be anywhere near those guys. If he wants to run in the afternoon for funsies, I guess, and put a chip on. But no, he shouldn't. He was allowed to run on the second wave, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was like third or fourth wave. But
yeah, maybe at the end of the fourth wave, 5 minutes after, he shouldn't be near those guys.
I just think, for me, this was a last chance qualifier, and nobody that had already qualified should be in the race.
The whole point. It's the whole point.
Yeah. Whether you think they don't affect it further on down the heat, it doesn't matter. Like, it was a last chance qualifier. That was these people's time to shine, their race. And, I mean,
it's also
breaking rules that let them do it.
It also does confuse it from a sport perspective, because you see the name and it jumps out and you're like, oh, did he need to run it? Why is he there? It's just a weird thing.
I mean, he didn't do it for this reason, and I get that, like, he did it as a race prep stuff. That's fine. But I don't like the idea that one of these guys that's already in, if they have a buddy they want to get in, they could go out and pace them for the race to try to win it, or like, almost team racing. So I don't think that's just why I think the guys that are already qualified, they should not be part of these races.
Right.
Yeah.
Guys that are professionals probably also shouldn't be pushing open weights. But
do we want to talk about that now?
Oh boy.
I have a different view than you. I think it's completely fine.
Okay, let's do it now. We're changing my agenda, but here's the question. The question on the table. I will set at the table for the audience. Alex Ronkovic, aka Ronco, one of the greatest Hyrox racers to date, early Mount Rushmore, okay, goes out and smashes the open record. The question on the table is, should Elite 15 / pro athletes be allowed to run open and hold open records? I say no. Dave, what do you say?
Well, hold on. Anthony's got the different opinion, so I'll tiebreaker here. I want to hear what Anthony has to say.
I say they should be allowed to. It's a different race.
Okay, let's just get the quick, and then we'll dive in. Dave.
See, I was on the fence with this. I mean, watch it on the weekend, and I mean, I can't give you a quick answer. I got to do the whole deal.
All right, do the whole deal. By the way, I have reached out to him. I'm not just talking shit. I will get him on the horn and say, "What's up, Ronco?" Well, let me just tell you quickly what I said in our text chain was like, LeBron isn't showing up, even though LeBron isn't in my hybrid parking lot. LeBron can't show up. Be like, yo, I just crushed it. I just went undefeated in the local league. It's like, okay, why are you here? Right. What Rich Ryan says is he likes it because it says it stops the other podiums. Other people can't go, oh, look, I have the open record when they don't deserve in the first place. It's like, well, podiums are never going to stop. People will always think of a reason to post or lie in their or stretch the truth in their IG bio. So it it doesn't end that argument. People are still going to do that. So that's why Rich thinks it's good, but I don't think that's why either of you think it's good.
I mean, that's a fine, like, let people have their podiums, Matt. Just let people be happy. Okay. Don't discourage people's achievements. All right. They don't put them down. Let people bask in their own glory. But I just think it's a different race. It's a different division. It's a different race. It's not LeBron going to a semi-pro and dominating. It's Mo Farah, instead of running a marathon, goes and runs a 10K. Like, he's the fastest marathoner. Or is Mo Farah the guy I don't remember his name.
I think Mo Farah is the 10K guy, isn't he?
Is Mo Farah the 10K guy? Okay, well, he run. It's like going down a race. It's not like going down any division or pro division. It's saying the world's best half marathoner decides to run a 10K and sets the world record in that. That's way more what it's like, because it's a different race. It's a different speed. It's a different intensity. Like, it was a 5 minutes faster for him than his normal race. It's different weights. So he has to approach it differently. He can do all those movements faster, but now his heart rate is jacked. His running's going to change. His machine work's going to change because he has to put out more and differently than he would doing his normal race.
I would say, okay. I hear what you're saying. Let people have there's a way to draw a line without being mean to them. Like, I cannot be mean to them because you could be mean and like attack them. But your daughter is how old?
21 months.
Okay. So any game you play with her, whether it's tag,
I dominate her. I'm 100%. She'll never win until she earns the win.
So for some parents, they let their kids win at a young age. And then at some point, it's like,
why those children are weak.
And at some point, it's not, because that's not how the world works. You don't let them celebrate their victories, air unquote, when it wasn't a real victory. So when you're going to claim on your thing world champion or world record, and you don't put the world age group in front of it, you are not telling the truth. You are being disingenuous. You are going against people that own both the actual record and other age group records. I don't think doesn't mean I have to attack them, but I'm not just going to let them have it the same way I wouldn't let my 14-year-old beat me in basketball and think it's okay. But when he was 5, I might let him. Well,
look, she has her whole life to beat me. I'm going to take as many wins as I can before it comes up. She's going to be beating me.
Dave, Dave comes from that old school. Dave did the wrestling in the basement, right? You stretched your son out really good, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a couple of good videos. But you're kind of crossing two subjects here. You went from Ronkovich to podiums, so they're kind of different. So I want to go back to Ronkovich. Here's the thing. Everything Anthony said is absolutely true and makes sense and is correct, but there's one missing piece. Hyrox bills this as their entry-level race. And as such, it needs to be treated as an entry-level race, which means for a pro to go down and race in it, especially in Elite 15, is, to me, it's a little offside. It is a different, exactly, Cheryl, you're right. It is a different race. It's not easier, but that's the way Hyrox bills it. If they start putting out money for it, treating it just like the other race, then I'm okay with it because it's equal billing. But they advertise it as their entry-level race.
I think it's fine. Like, just because he goes down and race it doesn't mean it's not an entry-level race. It just shows you what the absolute top would do in that race. So it's just like, if we sign up for the pro race and I'm trying to go run it, I ran a 66 in the pro. It doesn't mean that I see Hunter run a 53 or James run a 54 and I'm like, I'll never beat them. Like, I'm still going to be able to run my race.
It's a different race. I will give you that, meant for different people. The whole point of you're not racing elite and age group, right? Is you're somewhere else. So we're going to lower what we're going to take you from RX to not RX and give you a way to get in here. So there shouldn't be any fucking records of any kind.
So
It should be come in and do it. Cool. You have the fastest time. Okay, cool. Good job. Brag to your friends, whatever. But when Hyrox says you own the open record, it's like, what are you doing?
Just gonna pose a question then. If we say there's so much errors with the standardization of each course, do the records matter?
Well,
No.
it's a different conversation. That's a different conversation.
So I mean, it's let them bill it what they want to bill it.
I don't care about the record. I would rather not see him in the race. I don't care about the record. I'd rather not see him in the race, whether he sets a record or not, because I think that race is meant for other people. Just like,
right.
That's
what I just said.
I know. I'm agreeing with you. This is
Okay.
a blown away thing. But to be open pro should read that. Whatever. The open and pro should be renamed. And yeah, that would be cool. And that's what I'm saying.
The reality is these are not professional athletes just racing under the name pro, but they are. We are holding them up. We're giving them money. We know they're not making real money, but we are saying you are the pros. We look up to you.
So the RX1 race that I go to that we're talking about, they have divisions. They have a pro, they have an expert, they have an intermediate, and they have an amateur. If somebody in the pro division drops down to expert, that's sandbagging. And that's the point of it. And I think actually, Matt, you made this point, and I'm surprised you didn't bring it back up again. And maybe it wasn't you, so maybe that's why. But it's like Matt Frazier winning the scaled CrossFit division.
That was me.
Well, there you go. I gave you credit. So
Thank
it's like Matt Frazier winning the scaled CrossFit division. Yes, he could go into it. Yes, he has every right. Yes, there's no rule saying he can't. But it's kind of
right. Well, I'm older now, guys. I'm just gonna do scaled instead of
that's the way I look at it. I still think Alex is a class guy. He's a great guy. I don't think he meant anything by it, and I think he's one of the best athletes out there and a great person.
Not saying he's a bad person.
No,
just want to ask him why he did it, because I don't see the point.
Yeah. And I think he probably did it because he wanted to work out and he went out for a run and he all that stuff. But you got to realize, like, the elite side of it, like you, and this might sound strange, but the people on the elite side of it who are up there in the top 15, i.e. Rich and Alex and stuff, they don't see it from the side that I would see it from, because that race is probably more for someone like Matt, someone like me, whatever, or something along that lines, who, wants their chance to compete, but isn't up for that level of race. So when the elites come down into it, they think, oh, I'm just doing an exercise. It's great. I'm just having a fun run and a workout. But you're taking away a chance for someone to have their chance to compete hot and get a podium and something.
Have a great workout and then go, cool, that was cool. I got a 50, but I'm actually taking this chip off and throwing it away.
Or do the relay, do the doubles.
Right.
Which I believe he did all three. but if you want to work out, great, go do those things. It's, I just think that, and normally they could run in the pro wave, but this one, I think Alex probably didn't run in the pro wave because he didn't want to affect that race, which I commend him on. But so he went in the open, and that's why I think he did it, was because he felt he shouldn't run the pro wave. But yeah, I think it's one of those ones where I was really on the fence on, and I went back and forth, and I see both sides, but I've leaned to I just don't like it.
Yeah, I don't think it should be done, but okay.
Before we move on, Sean Noble has asked the question twice: who would be the top 3 runners among the elite men?
But why would we? But that's not what we're talking about.
Oh,
Still a good question.
Well, you asked a question. I was just going to ask. I was gonna say, I think the top 3 runners, if Ronkovic was right, I heard in an interview he thinks he can run a 4:10 mile. If you want to talk about speed, I'd say Ronkovic, Rich Ryan, and Rylan Shadag are probably the 3 fastest.
Right. We don't listen. I like the questions. It doesn't mean we have to answer every single question. We do have a show to do, and that's just like, okay, who's the fastest runner? That's a great question. We got 7 other topics to get to today.
I like an Nos.
Sorry. All right, let's get it. Let's move on. Are we gonna do the women for Cologne?
Let's talk about the women.
All right.
All right. Do I need to pull it up?
Sure. I remember the top 3. I remember Kate Davey almost lost her spot getting pinned down by Zara at the finish line because she left wall ball early.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was like a counting thing, or if I think what happened, if I remember, I watched it again. I think Faisal was counting her down, and I think he said one more, and she threw it, but he was counting a different spot than like
right. Dave and I have discussed this,
and so she ran, and then like had to come back because the judge was like, that wasn't the last one.
Did we talk about this?
I don't think so.
I feel like we talked about this. Like, don't listen. Listen to your judge. Don't listen to the
PA dude. But hats off to that judge. I mean, that guy did everything in the world to like, even before she's run off, he's like screaming and he went and chased her down. Like that guy did everything he could.
I think I say hats off to him, especially because not only did he like try really hard to get her back, he didn't let it go. I know some judges would have been like, "Oh no, that wasn't it," but she's gone. It's like, "Oh well, whatever." Like he stuck to the integrity of the race. So
listen, now people are mad at me. Sean, I love you, buddy. I'm sorry. Okay, so here's the biggest question. Okay, you know who picked Yana? Is it Yana? Is it Jana?
Yana. They said Yana as her name.
Okay, do you know who picked Yana to come into the top 5?
Nobody.
Nobody, because she wasn't even in our drop-down menu.
This was her second race.
So has anyone learned anything about her in the last 48 hours?
No.
She came second at the last chance qualifier.
Yep. That's about all the info you're gonna get. She, like, I mean, it was her second ever race, and I don't remember what her first one was.
I don't know. Usually people, they do some Googling, they find out, she's a high school hurdler or something. Nobody found out anything.
What I do know is that she's in the 25 to 20.
Cheryl, do some Googling. Cheryl, if you're still watching, Jack, if you're still watching, do some Googling for us. Let us know. I found her Instagram account. She'd already followed us. I followed her back. I reached out, but I haven't heard back from her. But
still, what a great effort on her part. Again, jumping right in there, second race and getting in there and throwing down and having such a performance.
I think it's kind of telling too. This was a hometown race for her. Mm-hmm. That is an advantage. How nice is it to sleep in your own bed before like a big race?
It can be an advantage, right? But doesn't necessarily. Dave didn't do so hot in DC.
Yeah.
Magita?
He had some issues, yeah.
But I think that was separate though from.
I know.
With her with the hometown advantage on that one too, I do think it's an advantage because usually the downside of the hometown thing is the pressure. But she was coming in with no pressure. Like you said, nobody even picking her, no one saying, no one talking her up. So
what just happened?
Well, I actually think in this race, the hometown pressure was a good thing for her because she got out hot, had the pressure, and because of that, I think it was able to help her hang on. She got kind of out of the crowd early, and she was able to hang on and finish in second. If this had been another race where only the top person was the only one in it, I don't know if it would have played out the same. But having 3 spots, like she had a buffer and she didn't have to stress as much in the back end.
Yeah. And I think you're right. And I think it was one of those things. She went out hot and then she hung on. And all of a sudden, the longer the race go, the more her race went, the more her confidence grew. And the more she started thinking, I can do this. I'm there. I'm in it.
Yep. And I think like we talked about like 1 or 2 weeks ago that some of the women had come out and been like, well, I'm really strong on the back half, so I'm going to pace the front half and go hard on the back. But I think Zara was one of them, and she did a great job of that. But that kind of strategy leads to somebody who wants to take it out hot and push the course to actually be able to do really well, because then you're maybe losing some in the back half, but you got 3 spots. So if you're in first, you can hang on for 2 stations,
Yeah. It's just another great name, a new person out there, someone to be in the mix, and it's always fun when you get new people in there. Anybody else disappointed that Miriam didn't go?
I wanted to see her do well.
I think she would have done pretty well in this race. I actually do. I think she, like, just the way it played out and everything, it might have played to her advantage to have raced in this one.
And again, just talk about momentum. Momentum is a real thing, and that girl is on fire right now. And I think it would have carried over.
It is the week before her quarterfinals, and I understand why she didn't do it.
Oh, yeah.
She is focused on the CrossFit Games, and the next step to that is semifinals. I don't think that she's going to have an issue getting through quarterfinals to semifinals, though. So I think she could have risked it and done this race.
Right. I think that's what I was thinking too. It's still a pretty big swath. It's still a pretty big path for her to go through. So looking at her stations, Yana, she's just faster than everybody else.
She was running really well.
I mean, that's like none of these. She's not setting any of the stations on fire.
Well,
look at her total run time.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like Her total runtime was quick. But
Yeah.
How does that compare to our top gals, 31:42?
You got to add it to the rock zone, but this rock zone's messed up because of the burpee broad jumps. It didn't count. It actually looks like it counted right for her, but about half the field, their timing chip
it was like
messed
1
up.
minute.
Yeah, so that's why they have 1 minute burpees or a minute 20 burpees, is because the timing chip beeped halfway through the burpee broad jump when they went down back, cut that corner down back.
But we're looking at approximately 35. How does that?
You're looking at like a 35.
What
Megan Lauren are like 32, 33.
Yeesh.
Yeah, and then Linda kind of right behind them, isn't she?
Yeah. Well, yeah, Linda's right there with them. I don't say even behind them.
Yeah. So I mean, like, let's be honest. It's still like a 3-horse race, mostly 2. But Linda's right.
But I think that's also the thing with the men. You know, it's kind of win or bust or podium or bust for a lot of these women. Just getting anywhere near, right? If you finish 4th or 5th to those 3 women, you're feeling pretty fucking good about yourself, right?
Oh yeah.
If you show up to the world champs and you get anywhere near where Meg and Lauren are, speaking of pros, and yes, they are. Those 2 at least are pros.
Well, and that's another thing you're looking at for, like, when we were talking about the men's field earlier, is everybody's like, oh, I don't know, we think we're gonna have Hunter and Alex up at the top, but it's kind of a shotgun shells for everybody else. It's scatter. You don't know who's gonna show up on the day, and that kind of speaks to like the consistency of it. And I think you'll see it more on the men's side too, start to play out, that these guys are going to become more and more consistent, like the women's side. Because the women's side, I could almost ask every single person, hey, who are the top 5 women? And it's going to be the same 5 women everybody's going to have the answer to. If I ask you right now in Hyrox, who's the number 4 woman? What are you going to say?
I can't answer.
Number 4 is tough. Number 4 is the crate where it starts to go nuts.
Well, no,
anyone depending on the day.
Number 4 has been.
Oh, Vivian. It's Vivian. Sorry, it's Vivian. Well, she's number 4 in all of hybrid fitness.
But she's been, and I mean, she's very close. I mean, she's going to come up to a podium. She's going to be right there. So I just think the consistency of the women's field is just not as hectic as the men's field right now. In terms of like where these other women finish, I actually think that Zara, her post-race interview, she said her sight's too low. She said in her post-race interview something about wanting to finish middle of the pack at Worlds, and I was surprised. I was like,
well, maybe you should talk to her. I want to quickly do this, by the way. So we didn't get a ton of votes in. I think we can get a lot more for the world champs for a contest, because we did get over 100 something, and I think we could be probably close to 200 for the world champs, because everybody roots for their country people when it comes to that stuff. But on our little contest, there was only 35 people, but the top 3 people were I Am Ben Craft, Smoose 21, that's Smoose on the Loose, and one Anthony Parasini 88. But the tiebreaker goes to I Am Ben Craft with a wall ball guess of 311. The actual fastest was 314. The top male was Denny. Denny actually, I think, got 3 of the top 5 right, and nobody else did, because he actually picked James and Joffrey, and I don't think anybody else had Joffrey in there in the top 3. And then Smoose got 14 points for the most women, 2 correct and 1 guess off by 1 position. So anyway, there's your winner. We got to have a lot more people before we start giving away prizes. So we'll get some prizes in there if we can get at least 100 people in there. So if you're listening, just tell a friend.
You can get a sponsorship. Like
maybe we'll get you some free coffee.
There you
go.
Or a free ticket to Nice.
Yeah.
Did you see that someone's going to get a flight to Nice? Did you see that just for showing up?
Yeah.
I thought about registering. It's like,
no, it's not just for showing up. It's
you got to compete.
The sponsor is going to be whoever wins the men's pro gets a flight to Nice.
Wait a minute. I thought it was just
no.
Go, and it was a random
sponsor. The sponsor MNLY is going Manly is going to fly. So here's my question.
Now that's a good time to run open.
Well, here's the but
it doesn't count.
My question then is, is there going to be somebody upset that the women don't get a free flight? The winning woman doesn't get a free flight.
Listen, it's a manly product. It's called Manly.
So
Sorry.
There's a sponsor, and I get it. They're sponsoring the men's race. Manly is sponsoring the men's race. They're going to give the male winner a free flight to Nice. Makes sense. Is there a sponsor for the women's race, and is it going to match it?
Step up, somebody. Step up, tampon sponsor.
So
yes,
this
happened before. Yeah.
Stacy, can you suggest another sponsor? So there's this company called Manly. They sell like, I think it's more like a it's like a what's the one that checks your blood and all that everyone's been using?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Come on, guys. They test your blood and then Did you say Hims?
Yeah.
That's like a condom company.
Oh, really? I thought it was just like a male medicine or something.
Hang on a second. Who are the people that test your blood?
Labs? I don't know who you're going for here.
Tracker. Inside Tracker.
Oh,
so I think it's like a male only Inside Tracker. Anyway, so in the fitness space, what is a female brand that could be a good sponsor since this Manly company is sponsoring the men's race? What's a good female brand in the fitness space? Gymshark? What do you think? I don't know. Gymshark? Is that a good one? Lululemon?
That's Hobag.
Lululemon.
Say Hobag. I'm gonna back away for a second. I don't want to get
Cheryl Snow. Literally anyone could sponsor the women. I know that, Cheryl, but people were upset.
I have an idea.
Okay, Stacey has an idea.
Poise maxi pads for when you pee your pants when you're deadlifting.
Poise maxi pads, so when you pee your pants when you're deadlifting. Perfect.
There you go. So
I get that anyone could, but we were saying that it should be a woman's brand because the man's brand was doing the man's. I know it literally could be anyone.
Yeah, this happened a little while ago. If you guys remember, wasn't it? Well, one of the coffee brands sponsored the men, and then got flack for it, and then ended up going.
No, it was. Can you beat Hunter? Right.
Which that was it.
Kind of impossible thing to do at the time, right?
Yeah. And
it was like, what about the women? And it was like, fine, we'll do one for the women too. Even though at the time it wasn't nearly as now beating Meg or Lauren is like kind of on that same level, but back then it wasn't. Anyway, listen, our viewers are going up. We're well into double digits now, ladies and gentlemen. We're crushing it. I think we're definitely going to do this at this later time. By the way, I'm really appreciating Jack, Sean, and Cheryl hanging in there with us. They're our big commenters. Sean is saying we should give out prize money at regular races. Yeah, because that's not what they're about right now. You know, they're saying we're trying to get the masses and we've got the sports side. And I think, as I've been saying lately, I'm defending them a lot. They're doing a really good job with the sports side. So
the one
Sean,
thing they used to, oh, go ahead.
They used to give out money to every single event, and it's not feasible. I actually think
there's like 50 events worldwide now.
Yeah, there's so many events. They're a mass participation sport. That's how they make their money. So it doesn't make sense to give it out at every single event. Now, if they had a sponsor that wanted to do it, like they do in Dubai and Doha, where the sponsor pays the prize money, that's fine. But I think it's well reserved for them to keep the prize money to the majors and the world championships.
They don't even do a fucking podium for the other races. They do the age group podiums, and they don't even bother to say, here's who won the whole thing, making me tell people who are there, go stand with everybody so we can get a podium picture of the top three. So you're not just getting, 1, 2, 3, this age group. Anyway, so yeah, I don't think they need to do it. There's way too many races.
I'd rather them keep that money and keep putting it into the live streams.
Putting it into the live streams or, whatever, I don't know this, the way that they're saying, hey, we pay down to 10 places. So even if or 15 places, that way at least you get your, half a hotel covered.
I tell you, it was pretty nice the first, I think, until 2020 and 2021, when they did pay $1,500, $1,500 for podiums, just traveling like, oh, we're going to go to the race this weekend and come back with a podium. That was a fun time, but
that only works for you. It's not very good for the rest of us.
Yeah. Right. What else do we want to say about the women's race before we have several other topics to cover?
I did want to say I got one more thing. So, and Anthony went back to Zara's interview afterwards where he said she maybe sold herself short. I think part of this, though, is something that Hyrox has done exceptionally well. and they have made just qualifying for the Elite 15 be such an honor, be such a great thing to do, such an accomplishment, such an elite field, that now just being there for a lot of these people is like, I've made it. I've got there, because it's so difficult to get there, right? It's so hard. So I think that's something Hyrox has done supremely well. And I think Zara's interview is a byproduct of that, of like, okay, I've made it. Now, you know, how happy I am. I just made it. I'm in the dance.
That's exactly like.
And those people should not be then running open weights. Sorry.
Yeah, several years ago, there was an announcer at CrossFit who made that same comment that like, you don't know how fit you have to be to suck at the CrossFit Games. Very true. Now, I'm not saying that about any of the people that are making the Elite 15, but they are all extremely fit. And if you go back and look at them, like, honestly, 1 to 15, their level of fitness is between each other is minuscule. Like, they are all very high. All of them, every single one of them is training at a very high level, like they're all working hard. Nobody's like outworking somebody else. So it really does just speak to the level of the competition and the level that Hyrox has brought it up to.
And for those of us that have been following this wacky world of OCR for a decade, it took a really long time for the field to get really good. And there was always like kind of people showing up and leaving. And this is the tip of the spear getting really good really fast. Like even the difference between this year, we started talking about at the beginning, and we're going to talk about it a lot more on the men's side. Like it's ridiculous how much faster and better people are at this sport. And when before it was like, oh, there's 1 or 2 good people, and then there's everybody else. So yeah, you've got they've successfully set this thing up called Elite 15, which I think we had a problem with before. We were like, why is it 15 and not 12? Why isn't it not 20? Whatever. I like it. I think we've established it as a brand and as a thing, right? Elite 15, cool. Let's keep it that way.
I think you're going to dislike what I have to say towards the end of the show then.
When we get down to the drop down. All right, we'll get down to that. So Anaheim is this weekend?
No.
For DEKA.
For DEKA FIT.
Sorry, thank you. Because I was going to say I'm not prepared to talk about a thing. I want to talk about those really cute podium displays. I thought that was super cool.
This can be quick. They were awesome. They should have them all the time.
Okay. Do we think they're FIBO only? Has someone said that?
They might be.
I mean, how expensive can it be? It's just an LED board, right?
Yep.
And then type it.
Yep.
That's me typing like I'm a cat typing.
Again, anything they do, it'll make it more and more special. Anything that makes it more special, any bit just adds the allure.
Yep.
All right.
That's what Hyrox does best is atmosphere.
All right. Hyrox Young Stars. Did you purchase some hit sticks for your daughter yet?
No, they have to be 7 years old.
You better get started.
Can I just register her as a 7-year-old? She might win some things.
That's what I'm saying. She comes from good stock.
So
what do we think? How successful do we think this will be?
So just to clarify, you look at the race, it's not happening on the like interfering with the other races. So it's a separate like zone it can be in. And I think that's fantastic. Let the kids have it. There's Spartan kids. There's all these other kids races. I think that's fantastic. They definitely should have something like this. And it's really encouraging to see like just all the kids.
Where is it going to be though?
I think it starts in London, right?
No, but like if you think about their footprint and you think about where merch is and where the you could barely get across as it is now.
It'll probably take up some zone or some area within the rock zone, or the spectator zone, which means just less places for us to observe from. And maybe they need some grandstands instead to let us watch the race.
Yeah. It'll just be another confusing spot on a very confusing map.
It'll create another chicane that you have to like go around in the run course.
I believe it's chicane is the word you're looking for.
Okay.
But you know what? It is. I agree with obviously Anthony as well. Great. Awesome. Anything that gets kids involved is fantastic. And that's how you grow from youth up. And that's when you get better and better. I mean, OCRs strive for that for years to get younger and younger kids involved and move up. And I think it's fantastic. And I looked at the course, like whatever you want to call it, the course, the layout. and it seems fun. I'd like to try it. I think I'll be a kid for that one.
I mean, I think it's great. Look at like CrossFit went younger. They have some great turnout, and now we can see, as the sport grows and develops, and it's maybe once it's been around for 10, 15 years, and you have some of these kids that have grown up with it. Are we going to see 18-year-old, 19-year-old champions? Are we going to see like the Emma Carey, the Emma Lawson, the Mal O'Brien that jump into the sport straight from the kids division and are a dominant force to be reckoned with and for the podiums? Like, that's fantastic.
And not just thinking about that from this side and the high end of the sports side. Think of it from the lower end of anything that gets kids active and into sports.
Active and moving
is a great thing. So you're talking about active, healthy children, promoting that, and that's fantastic. I don't see a downside. And
it props up the elite athletes, these elite athletes, more as role models. Like, I think it's good for the sport now, and it's good for the future of the sport.
Can you see? Are we good on the YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Okay, sorry. I pulled it up really quickly. I wanted to make sure that we were good. All right. Hyrox 365. What is your understanding of what it is?
It's just Hyrox trying to get into Anthony's cheddar.
No, I think from what I can understand, I think it's actually it's a good idea because it's making, I believe, their certifications more accessible, which spreading the word, getting a bigger audience, anything like that is good for the sport. I just don't understand what it is. I don't know. Is it like a training app? Do you have to pay for it? What if I'm not a member of an affiliate? Can I look at it? I don't understand it. And it'd be nice if we had clear, because I watched Lauren Smith's interview before the Cologne race about what it was, but it still just isn't clear exactly what 365 is supposed to be.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not entirely sure how they're presenting it. To me, it just, I don't know. I looked at it and I'm like, okay, this is just more Hyrox training stuff and another way to try to make some money. I don't know. Maybe it's fantastic. Maybe it's not. I don't know that it is going to be a revolutionary training program. I would find that hard to believe. But hey, it's their name, it's their right, and if they can sell training programs and coaching programs, and that makes them money, more power to them.
Well, is it supposed to be an app? I looked for it on the App Store and I couldn't find it. So,
all right. So here's my belief. What I've been saying about Hyrox and DEKA, what makes them great is, and what makes them successful is their accessibility. I don't have to go to a DEKA owned whatever, right? I can go to my box and work out and train for DEKA and Hyrox. I can work out at the Y. I can work out in my backyard. And then my friends and I can go do this event, be scored, be whatever, and then come back and train and do it again. When you then say, oh, but we should be everything to all people and give them an app and give them a methodology to train and all this stuff, I feel like that's where they lose my early prediction, and I could be wrong, is this will happen for a couple years, and then they'll go, you know what we're really fucking good at? Putting on events. Let's really focus on putting on this event and growing this global brand by continuing to put on great events that more people can show up to in more places, and there's a pro sport they can follow. Like, you're really good at that. And this is like what it feels like new companies always do. But wait, we could also, why aren't we Hyrox food? Why aren't we feeding these people? They're training to do our events and eating healthy. Why don't we give them a Hyrox breakfast? It's just too much.
They really should, I think, focus on the event, focus on delivering that quality, delivering that awesome production, the product that we get from them for these majors. If they really focused on that, I think there are coaches in this space that can help elevate it, and it doesn't need to be associated with that. Now, again, they have their Hyrox master coach certification. They could say, if you want to be calling yourself a Hyrox coach, you need to have this and license that out or affiliate that out. Or they can just partner with like the best coaches in the space to deliver that product so that, you know, if somebody is looking to get into their event, they can make recommendations for the programs those people should follow, not necessarily creating their own. And it goes along the same route. Like, and I think it's just kind of a mirror of CrossFit, where CrossFit has the .com workouts where they put out one workout a day since 2002 or whatever. Right. Well, Hyrox has been doing something similar. They put out one workout a week with a video with Mintra on their YouTube, and they post it to their Instagram too. But I think this is just like they're trying to capture the everyday thing when there's already a lot of coaches and high level athletes out there doing it. So I think they really, I don't know what the purpose of it is. I thought the Hyrox 365 app was to get their certifications out to everybody in an accessible manner, instead of being like, hey, show up a day early for this big race you're going to do and spend 5 hours with us sitting down so we can teach you. And so instead of that process, which is pretty cumbersome to most people, they could just learn at their own rate.
Yeah, like let you guys and people that already coach athletes like elevate this thing up, rather than compete with the people that really want to get people to your events by training them through their various, right? So like if you want to call yourself a Hyrox trainer, yeah, like pay some money and then we'll put you on the website, right? One thing like they're doing well is like they put those emails out. They're like, hey, here's these Hyrox run clubs, right? Like, but to be a Hyrox run club, I think you just have to claim it. I don't even think it has to cost. I think you can just say, and then they're pushing that out through their emails. Hey, this week it's Boston, next week it's Dallas, without saying. It's kind of like in similar way, kind of the same way that that GoRuck is doing this Sandlot thing and being like, no, you have to go through this app that everybody has to be on, that everyone knows doesn't work, and is another app to log into. It's like, no, like do it however you want. Post it on Facebook, post it wherever. Like, just, you don't need to be all things.
Yeah. I think they're better focused on growing the community and then make money off sponsors and events. And the more people in their community, the more sponsors will want to pay them for stuff to advertise. So I don't know. It like I said, to me, there's just too many of these programs out there. It does reek a little too much of CrossFit in the same kind of thing. And
well, and it goes against people who were like your people who are already doing it, because there are people like Anthony, like the RMR guys, like 100 people that already own gyms and are training people to do whatever. And now you're saying, oh, no, you got to go through this very particular thing. And it's, which, by the way, do you not remember that they already did this last year with Future Fit? I'm holding up my phone because it was
completely unmemorable.
Right. It was last fall. I had to Google it and figure it out, look at my own articles or my own posts. It was called Future Fit. And it was one of those, like, I'd call it a Spartan deal. Like somebody goes up to Joe and goes, hey, I'll give you this thing for free. And so they do it, but then they don't put anything behind it. Future Fit was an app, and it was supposed to be where you go to find a Hyrox coach, but it's already gone. Yeah. Are you looking it up? Are you looking up Future Fit?
Yeah, I was trying to. I don't see it on my app store either, though. I don't see Hyrox 365 or Future Fit. I was just curious.
Well, let's go to the web. Let's see what it says if we type in Hyrox 365. Let me do a little screen share here. Okay, well, this is bad news. I'll tell you what the first link, you know what it says?
What?
You'll see. I'm going to show you. Okay, what does that say?
365 magazine, Hyrox.
365 magazine? Like, what is a magazine? Like, do I have to read it? Like, what is that?
Just gotta be a digital website or something. Like,
right, but why would you call it that?
Newsletter.
German?
Yeah, could be. Translation from German to newsletter. Who knows?
Oh, okay. Good call, Rye. Was that Rye?
Yep.
Good call.
she's always the thought that I'm not thinking.
Okay, so first of all, it did nothing when I pulled it up, so that's bad news. Now what happens? Hang on. It just happened. I'm so bad at this. So let's go back one. What does Hyrox stand for? Okay, Rox Life. Okay, so Rox Life put out an article for them. 365, the performance and training ecosystem, a training, education, and equipment ecosystem. They say that this enhanced offering in collaborations with partner Fit and Center will cement Hyrox's position as a full service health and fitness offering support and uniting the global. Okay, so what's Fit? I know Center's the equipment, so you can buy the equipment. That's cool. I want to buy the equipment, right? But what's Fit? FIT. Get Fit. Yeah, it's a fucking app.
Yeah.
Don't make me go to an app. I don't want to download another app. I don't want to buy another app. Don't make me do it.
Like, I'll be honest, I've already lost interest in it.
You've already lost interest in 5 seconds?
Yeah, like it's been done.
Hang on a second. This is headline worthy. Hyrox training clubs are affiliated training facilities that can advertise and market their services using the Hyrox brands. That's the CrossFit affiliation piece, right?
Yeah.
They will receive access to an entirely new digital platform through the Performance Hub powered by Fit. This will allow any gym provider to offer group training with a suite of educational tools and content format to aid coaches. No. This is what I'm saying. We don't need that. We're already doing that ourselves. But here's the interesting part. Developed by David Magida, head of affiliate programming. Did we know this? Did we know that David Magida had a job with Hyrox?
I knew he had been working with him, but I didn't know in what respect.
Anthony, you were smiling. Did you know off the record? It's fine if you did.
I didn't know.
Do we know? Does anybody know anything about this? Just, we know Dave has a lot of opinions. Did he talk to them and say, I have a lot of opinions? And they said, would you help us develop a plan and we'll hire you and give you a cut or we'll give you a salary? I mean, I'm sure he'll tell us if we ask him, but let's speculate since that's what we're doing on this show.
Like Magida knows what he's doing, right? Like he if they're going to ask somebody to help them with this stuff, he's not a bad choice. He knows what he's doing. He's been a very good athlete in it. He's been in there since day one, or since he badmouthed his way into that invitational. Like, it's not like it's a choice out of the loop to help him. He owns was it 1 or 2 gyms in Washington that do well. Like, partnering him with it is not illogical.
He's got a good like announcer voice, like the voice for it. So he's not bad to have as the face of something. He wasn't there from day one, Dave. That he came in.
Not day one.
He came in there in like 2021.
Pretty early. It was pretty early.
That was like season 4 or 3.
That was season 2 in North America.
Well,
according to Hyrox, season 2 was 2019. So
wait a minute.
North America.
Unlike Joe DeSena, who says Spartan started either in 2000 when he started doing adventure races, or 2005 when the death race started, or 2010 when the first real Spartan race happened. Hyrox, there is an actual, we know, we've been alive for it, we've seen it. Okay, so their first race was what year?
November 2017. Their first world championships was 2019.
Yeah.
And their second one was the Elite 12 at the end of 2020. It basically took place in all of 2020.
What was Lauren's first race?
October 2019. The first race in the US was in Miami.
The Miami one, yeah.
Okay. And I remember that because that was the one where Bracken and all those guys were like, I've been doing sims. I'm going to crush this thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Everybody's like, we've been doing sims and I'm winning. They're like, I'm beating these world record times by 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So again, I feel like part of this does make sense, right? Because we know that for DEKA, having an affiliate system works, right? Like, they are getting people to take ownership of this. And even though the gym can already be a CrossFit box or be a multitude of things, but hey, I want to put on DEKAs and maybe I'll get new customers. And according to a few people that I've talked to, they said it has in fact helped them. People have gone there to the website or wanted to do a strong or a fit or a strong and a mile and then said, hey, I guess I could work out here.
Does it work? I'm just curious though, because like heard in rumors that Spartan's not paying the DEKA FIT affiliates.
Well, that's just that Joe's a lousy business person. That's
not a concept if it's worked. That's a concept of Spartan business practice.
Yeah, but Yancey, if it was up to Yancey, I think his bills would be paid on time.
If Yancey, yeah, absolutely. Yancey had control.
The difference between the Hyrox and the DEKA one is the DEKA affiliates get the chance to host events, and their events are, Spartan / DEKA. They do all the signups, they provide all the medals, they provide all the t-shirts, they do all the legwork. Really, you just got to say, I want to do it on this date, and they do that, and then you guys split the money, right? You host the event, and there's a split. Whether it works or not, it brings in members up for discussion. I'm sure it varies from gym to gym. The Hyrox one is what they're offering now. Is it better? Is a bigger name? Like Hyrox is now growing, is blowing up. It's a good name, right? Having your Hyrox name attached to your gym is much better. But they don't have that kind of competition base. They are still having PFTs and whatnot, but there's not like that kind of global leaderboard competition.
Do they need it though?
Lead anywhere.
It would be cool if every gym could put on PFTs
somewhere.
What's that?
I think it would be cool if the smaller competitions they held at the gyms led somewhere.
Like not to Elite 15, but something.
No, to a completely again, maybe just a world championship of the PFT or some smaller competition of some kind. But no, not to the Elite 15, nothing like that.
So let's break this down. The reason they can do it is DEKA can do it is that they've scaled it for the gym, right? Yeah. So pregnant mommy balls, instead of throwing it on a target, you just put it between your legs. Ball over the fence is ball over the shoulder. Can you really scale a Hyrox?
I mean, the problem is there's so much running. So unless you take the running out.
Well, if you did right, if the PFT was a Hyrox strong or whatever, right? Let's forget the running. I'm just saying you gotta have sleds, you gotta have wall balls, right?
The equipment is way less prohibitive to do a Hyrox one than it is a DEKA one. If you wanted to,
you think more gyms have bikes or sleds?
It's more traditional equipment than DEKA. You don't have a RAM at every single gym.
$3,000 tanks.
Or the tanks. So
you need the expensive piece of equipment. You need the bike, you need the ski ergs, you need the rower, you need the tank, and then you need the RAMs. That's 5 sets of not everybody has gym equipment. That adds up. Whereas Hyrox, you need the ski and the row, but then you're just basic weights.
It's a sandbag and a wall ball, and then some kettlebells. It's no more big.
Is it normal? Is it normal for places to have sleds?
Yeah,
almost every gym has a sled.
I think a lot do. Yeah, like maybe not like your good. Oh, sorry, I don't know if you guys have Good Life there, but like your big box gyms and stuff, maybe not, where they're just focusing on like here's a 30-40 treadmills and away you go and a couple of dumbbells. But most of the boutique gyms and stuff, they do have that stuff.
All right, Matt Kemp says. Matt Kemp, 1/4 of the Hyrox team called Oops All Maths that's doing the relay in New York City. I think that lots of gyms, he capitalized gyms. I don't know why they're capital. We're already doing Hyrox classes, and Hyrox wasn't getting a cut. Now Hyrox can work their partners to be the spot in their cities for people who Google. Yeah, but that's just the hey, have Hyrox in your name, give us $1,000 to be on the website. That you don't then have to still make those people go through this app and do the things that Dave says to do.
Yeah, but like this 365, don't you think it's pretty? And I could be misinterpreting it, but it seems pretty much like CrossFit affiliate training. Like it's something that they throw in there as well. Like okay, so here's your Hyrox affiliate, here's your affiliate training, or can you sign up like Anthony said as an individual and just get it?
I just don't know enough about it. Matt, can you call David Magida or have somebody jump on and do an episode about what is Hyrox 365?
It's a really good idea.
I think that would be much more productive than us trying to figure it out.
Well, I mean, listen, let's just go the race brain route. Hey man, this is just entertainment. We don't have to be right about anything. We can just talk out our ass. I do want to read.
You're stealing your motto, Matt.
What's that?
I'm teasing. I'm teasing, man.
No, listen, but I'm saying that's not true. Like you can't pretend to be an expert when you want, and then pretend to be pulling it out of your ass when you're not. I think it's a little double-edged, whatever.
I think Matt should commit to getting David Magida or Doug from Hyrox America on, and
done.
Let's figure out what Hyrox 365 is and explain it to everyone.
But look at this.
It could be a fantastic program.
But look at this. Did you see this? 4 levels of qualification. In 2024, this is 2024, Hyrox will introduce the Hyrox Foundation course and Level 1 education course.
I'm going to get my black belt in Hyrox.
I'll get Dave on for sure. But like I said, I think after a couple of years, they're going to go, wow, we put a lot of fucking effort into this and it didn't return what we thought it might. Now, Cheryl, your laughy cry emoji. I'm not sure what your laugh cry emoji to, but
I think she was laughing at Dave's joke. That's about when it popped up.
Oh, okay. I'm going to leave a message. I'm going to call Dave Magida right now. What do you think about that?
Well, you do that. Why don't we move on to the last piece that's listed as our topics?
But before we do that, I like to make things happen in real time. Hey Siri, call Dave Magida.
Well, I'm going to call Dave Magida.
Just to confirm, you'd like to call you David Magida home?
Yes.
David Magida.
It actually says
Call
Jew.
David Magida home.
Because I used to call him the Bear Jew.
I mean, I think it should be a whole episode, not a phone call on our episode.
Will you trust me? God damn it. God, you guys never trust me. We're not going to spend that much time. Don't worry.
Should we all call him at the same time? Dave, you start calling him now, and then I'll start calling him and see who he picks up for.
I just want to prove to the people that I'm trying to make this happen. I'll even leave a message that he won't listen to because nobody listens to messages anymore.
If it's voice to text, I'll read my voicemail.
Yeah.
Dave Magida, this is Matt Davis from Hybrid Fitness Media. I'm on the line right now with one Anthony Parasini and one Dave Claxton. We're dying to know more about Hyrox 365. Please come on my podcast ASAP. Love you, Mr. Media. Okay, there we go.
Hey, who's the coolest phone number that you have in your phone?
We did this once, right?
I don't know if we did, but
you told me you had Gretzky's brother.
I got Walter Gretzky's number.
So
rest in peace. He's passed away now, but I still got his number.
So we did this one time in college. I remember it was like to show 6 degrees of separation. Who's the most famous person or the most widely known person's phone number that you could get or that you could get in contact with? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, that you could actually get.
Yeah, that you could talk to them.
And how
did have their number?
How far away were you from somebody really important?
I was one step to Obama.
You knew one person that knows Obama?
Yeah. Well, I went to Oregon State, and while I was there, his brother-in-law was coaching the basketball team, and I was on the wrestling team, and we had like intermix things that we got.
You lived in Vegas for a long time. I feel like you know a lot of famous people.
I'm one step from a couple. Like I'm less than a step. Is it a half step? If I could just call my grandpa and I can talk to or not just my grandpa, but you can have one step. I could probably talk to 3 or 4 people that are billionaires.
That feels like a phone call you'd want to make. Get your own Hyrox 365 going.
No.
I mean,
I was really hurting and wanted to talk to need an investment. If I had a great idea, I need an investment, maybe then. But you don't call those people out of the blue and say, "Hey,
I'm giving you a real idea. It's called Hyrox 365, but we call it Hyrox 366 because it even works on leap year."
I have one idea that if I bring it to market in the next couple of years, it could be really big, and I'll announce it when it happens if I get to it. But right now I'm talking to a mechanical engineer and and an inventor and trying to actually see if it's possible.
All right. So the final topic, at least official topic, is the roll down being bumped down from 30 to 40 for next year. You noticed it in the middle of the night. I messaged today. I put it out today. I thought more people would comment. Apparently, I do not have a very successful channel because nobody commented. It's 2 comments on it. I thought it was big news.
I don't think it matters.
There's no information on it yet. It's just this could be something in the future. Anyway, you want me to explain what it was? I was sitting there watching the women's Cologne race at 2 a.m, and I went over to the major qualification tab, and now it says major qualification ranking 24-25. So it's next season's major qualification. If you scroll down it, all the times have been updated to only this season so far. The auto qualifier line is only below the people that have won a major, and it extends down to 40th place instead of 30th. So there's a further roll down, which is all pretty neat stuff, but we don't know what it means. So
what do you mean? We know what it means. It means that if you don't make it, if there's roll downs, they used to stop at 30. They stopped at 20 the first year. What, didn't they stop at 20 or something stupid the first year? We were mad about it.
No, I think it was 30 then.
No, it
too,
stopped
but
at 30.
They just kind of said all of a sudden, yeah, we don't go past 30.
Yeah, Rich was upset because I think he was like 32nd or something,
Yeah.
and he would have got a roll down, but they didn't have it listed, so they couldn't verify he was, past 30. So instead, they just re-asked everybody again, "Hey, please come," and then they filled it that way.
So why do you not think it's a story now?
Well, the question I have is, you talked about it earlier, is the Elite 15, and it used to go down to 30, so now it goes down to 40. Are they going to go to the Elite 20?
Oh, like that's what you think might happen.
But the line is still below 15, but maybe they're listening and they want to expand it, and so it is 20. We don't know yet, but it's just interesting right now. You can kind of see where you're ranking for the 24-25 season already. And this is pure speculation. None of us really know, but what if, like in looking at it, what if there's going to be 5 auto qualifiers? This last year, they had 5 auto qualifiers, the 2 US champ, the European champ, and the top 3 at Worlds. And then if there was overlap, it rolled down on their Worlds placement. This year, you can have 4 major champions and the world champion. And if there's overlap, it could roll down at the world's placement, right? So who's to say they aren't going to have another 5 auto qualifiers and then 10 based on time that they take for future majors or whatever it is. So we just don't know what it is yet, and it'd be really neat.
The bigger question, I think, is what you've been talking about, which is how far back will it go? You're saying 6 months. I think they're not going to do that. I think they're going to say a year. I think they're going to say all of 24.
I'm hopeful it's 6 months, and then like Matt Kemp just asked the question, is there going to be a major outside of the North America and Europe? I assume there's going to be a major next year in Dubai or APAC.
That would make sense.
There should be one in each, one in North America, one in Europe, one in Dubai, one in NORPAC or APAC. And if you have that, you're going to have a lot more declines and a lot further to roll down because of the travel.
Yeah. And I've always been just roll down till you got 15. Who cares? Why are you stopping?
But I feel like that's the opposite. I feel like these athletes have proven they'll fly anywhere in the world to qualify.
Some will, but they're still getting roll downs now, right? And it becomes more and more hard. And I don't know. I don't think they ran into it this year, but I don't know why they cap it at all. It doesn't make any sense to me. Just get 15 people in there.
I want you to clip what Dave just said, Matt, and I want you to post that for this video. Get 15 people in there.
Okay.
Because that's the first time he's ever said that. Usually he's saying get 40 or leave it open.
I'm going on.
Hang on, wait a minute. Is this breaking news?
Going on the rules that are there. My way is way different, but it's the best way.
So
what's your way, Dave? Just let the top 30 go at it.
He wants an LCQ for everything.
I want every major open.
Not feasible.
It's totally feasible. They just did a race with it. They're doing another one in a couple of weeks.
Okay, so how do we feel? Potential last topic. How do we feel about the since they didn't plan on doing live stream, they gave us kind of a brief live to tape. What do you think about that? Did we like it?
I'll be honest, I haven't watched it yet.
I mean, I liked the overviews that they did. They were good for those products, and if I had slept through the night, it would have been nice to watch those instead of waking up early for them. But I think, like with any sport, it needs to be a live production. You'll get a lot more viewership. You'll get a lot more out of it if it's live. When people can just go look up the results, you're never going to get the same attention as doing a live product.
Right. But I mean, I think people slept anyway for when it's on that side of the world and we're in bed. People weren't going to get up for
if Hyrox had said that there was going to be a live production of the LCQ broadcast just like the majors were, I bet a lot of people would have woken up for it.
I think you,
Dave would have.
Would you have woken up at 4?
Hell, I did.
You did.
Here's the thing: when it comes to the after thing, right? Like, I have not watched it, so it could be fantastic, and I'm going to assume it is fantastic.
But
I would rather watch Ian and Greg do a watch along with somebody streaming on one camera than watch an after the fact thing.
Yes, right.
So I think this whole thing was a giant missed opportunity for Hyrox.
Okay, so I think I said this before, but here's the thing: I'm giving them grace on this one because I think when the year started, they budgeted for 4 live shows, right? Or 5, including and they just thought, we're not sure how that's going to work or whatever. Now, as it developed, you see like, oh, wow, this is really going to be amazing. This is going to be better than some of the majors maybe. But hey, we don't have the budget for it. So rather than give them nothing, here's what we can do. We'll get Lauren. You know what I mean? We were going to fly Lauren there, whatever. So I feel like it's an okay makeup. People just act like money is like, oh, we'll just grab another 50 grand. It's like, well, it doesn't work that way. So it is a missed opportunity. And next year, if they don't do it, then it's a massive gaffe. You need to get the budget for it.
It doesn't have to be the same production that we've come to expect for the majors. Just let 2 or 3 guys with cameras and roller skates on the course.
Like what?
With their phone or a GoPro.
Right,
that's how we used to do it. That was, I mean, Dave, you commentated what was it, Maastricht or Chicago last year? That same exact way. Like, why can't we have that for the LCQ?
Well, because I don't think they want to show that to the world. They don't want to show just IG to the world. They want it. If you're going to do it, in for a dime, in for a dollar. I can understand that.
Well, I mean, instead of the $50,000 production, it can be, a $5,000 thing and actually.
But how do you do that?
What?
Where are you putting the 5,000?
To 1 or 2 commentators and 4 rabbits, $100 to run the race.
But that's not the problem. The problem is when you go from just the 1 rabbit to the producer and the switcher, that's once you're in for that, you're in for it. And so there's kind of no way to have it look good otherwise. Otherwise, it just looks like OCR report, which isn't horrible, but not what they want to do.
I understand they have a product now, a full-fledged product that they give out. And so that's the standard they've come to expect. But I know that there's a lot of people out there that would just like to be able to watch the race live.
But see, I'm saying actually less than you. I'm saying literally just do Graham like you used to, because that doesn't hurt you. That's not like, oh, we're giving the world statistics, but the live feed sucks or it's fuzzy. Yeah. It's just the IG feed. Just do. You don't even have to.
Yeah, you don't even have to have the commentators. Like a whole bunch of the other Hyrox franchises, like Spain used to do that for their races and races that weren't LCQs. Dubai's done that for
that to me is like you could just do that and let us all do our own watch-alongs. But don't.
Well, I just sent Magida a link.
A link to what?
This.
To this?
Yeah.
I'm exhausted. Are you ready for this? Are you ready? I'm going to take a bite of my food.
So I think if I was running Hyrox, this would have been a priority as soon as I saw how everything went. And I would have been, okay, we need to capitalize. We have massive momentum going and we need to keep it rolling. And it would have been worth breaking the budget to do.
The community would have picked it up if they did what Matt said, where they don't even have to have a budget. Just have a rabbit out there with a phone and do your own. How long did Graham do that? They don't need the commentators. There would have been Race Brain. There would have been Rocks Life or OFX. Everybody would have been like, oh, we can do our own watch-alongs. People would have taken that up.
Just put Graham out there like they used to and let him run around and do it.
Yeah, Graham, what are you doing lately?
I don't think they let him do it anymore. I think he would do it.
No, but was he in FIBO? I know he's at all the American races.
I don't know. But he did a great job on it. For a solo mission, he did fantastic. It was worth watching.
Hey, is Magida backstage, Matt? Or
No.
are we okay?
He's not. Is he coming?
I don't know. He actually
So
he asked if you still want him to call. So
He said, did you mean now? And I was going to answer him when I got off and said, no, we can do it later. But since you sent him the link, I'm waiting.
He hasn't sent it yet. He hasn't seen it yet. So
okay.
Did you want to talk about how stacked the DEKA FIT in Anaheim this is? this weekend is?
Sure.
I want to hear it. Yeah.
You want to hear it? So, Jack Bauer sent me the people that were going to be there.
I'm gonna eat. Hang on. You can talk.
So just as a note, here's the women's lineup: Morgan Schultz, Vivian Tafudo, Lauren Griffith, Katie Duke, Teresa Rumfola, and we're going to be there. And then a ton of the guys with 31 or sub 32 PRs. Isaac Sanderson, Glenn Race, Tyler Veerman, John Clark, Aaron Nolan, Joshua Gonzalez, Grayson Kilgore, Chaz Hatton, John Howard.
That's a good field, man. I was supposed to commentate that one, but I had my own race.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
And we're hoping that it works out too, that when we go there, Lauren Griffith and Bubbles are supposed to race a doubles.
Get that qual in for Worlds.
And Lauren and I will double up. So
that's a lot of pressure on you, but I know you can.
I know it's a lot of pressure on me. It's two really fast
that bike, man.
Two of the really fast women, both racing with a guy that can do 15 seconds or less on the bike.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. You can give him his first challenge on the bike there, Anthony.
Yeah, but
it's stardom.
It's just a question of like we've never raced it together, so and they have. Yeah. So the biggest question is just going to be like, you know, how do I hold up? I'm not going to be as fast as those. I'm not in the same level right now as those other three.
You won't be dialed in as much. I mean, Kevin is so dialed in, and he knows every second what he's going to
race and what to do. Yeah,
everything. Whereas, like you might have that talent and that ability and the athleticism, but to you won't have that experience.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be surprised if our race is, it's just going to be.
It'd be fun.
Lauren's time with taking off a minute 40 because I do the bike instead of her. So that could be how it turns out. But I'm really hoping that we can do well. It'd be fun if just get the qualifiers for like DEKA Worlds and be able to like maybe do that. I'm very excited. I gotta say,
would she run the individual and the relay, or would she just do?
Yeah, she did the relay. Yeah,
she would. Yeah, because some of them won't do because it's the same day, right? Like fairly soon after. Some of them, like for example, if you're in the fit, then you have the fit relay and then like the mile the next day. So some of them won't do that.
Yeah,
right?
But we don't really focus much on like the mile or the strong.
Yeah,
like I don't think she's done a strong since Spartan Games.
Yeah,
so it's more like I am really excited. I've been wanting to get to a place where I feel like I'm good enough to be able to partner with her for a very long time. And I feel I am so excited to be able
to having run a relay with one of the best women in the business. It's hard.
Oh yeah, my heart rate's going to be jacked.
Like I ran with Tara and that was like just put me right over the edge.
But I am extremely excited. It's going to definitely be a highlight for me.
Oh, that'll be wild. Yeah, I'd like to. Like I said, I wish I could do both. I wish I could do my race and the commentary for that one because that would be so much fun.
What? Oh, you're doing RX1 this weekend?
Yeah. That's otherwise, like I said, I was supposed to do the commentary for SoCal.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
I just that women's race. I think a lot of the women are going because it's a good time to like just get your qualifier, especially if you're near the West Coast. Get your qualifier for the season, because the rest of the races besides NorCal, but NorCal's kind of pushing it a little bit closer to Hyrox Worlds. And all the rest of the DEKA fits are on the East Coast. So if you're looking for that world qualifier, it's kind of the right time.
Yeah. All right. So he's not coming on. I think we should wrap it up. But real quick, you mentioned a lot of really top women. You named some good men, but you didn't name the tip top men, unless I didn't quite hear you right. Who are the men again?
The men. Oh, I got to go back to it. Sorry.
We had Isaac Sanderson, so there's a Canadian in there.
Isaac Sanderson, Glenn Race, Tyler Veerman, John Clark, Aaron Nolan, Joshua Gonzalez, Grayson Kilgore, Chaz Hatton, John Howard.
All right. Solid dudes. None of the top 3 from last year.
Yeah, Isaac was 7th, I think, last year.
Right. I'm a big Isaac fan. I just has Isaac on the show. I'm a big Isaac
I'll
fan.
call Isaac for that win.
But I mean,
on the women's side, you've got Lauren and Lauren. Right?
You've got 4 of the top 6 times from that would have been going into the Worlds and 2 of the podium finishers.
Do you have 4 Laurens? How many Laurens?
You have, Lauren and Lauren, Vivian and Morgan, and then Katie Duke and Teresa Rumfola.
Okay. Where's Teresa been, by the way?
I don't know.
I feel like, didn't we see her in DEKA last year early, but then was she in the finals last year?
I don't think so.
Dr. Lady Knight on Instagram.
That's a tough race. That's a tough
Yeah,
one.
Everybody's all about Alondra all the time. She's also a doctor. All right.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. Well, I think we're going to call this the show for the week. We're getting into this fucking race brain, almost 2-hour territory. Just too long.
It's long runs. or like medium long runs with people that listen on 1.5 speed.
Well, that's how I listen. How do you listen?
It depends on what it is and how interesting it is to me.
Oh, okay.
If it's super interesting, I'll slow it down and let it drag out at like 0.75.
No, you will not.
Nice.
Everybody sounds drunk. Okay, well, listen. Catch Dave on OFX every week.
Yep.
Who you have on this week, Dave?
This actually, we just put one out today with Tom Patrician, head of president of Obstacle Sports Canada. He just came out today, and then later this week, we are supposed to have Sebastian Corbet, who is the owner of RX1, to fill us in on all that.
All right. Well, if you don't come back this week, Dave, next week, I hope you do. But if you don't, we have to hear about this. We have to hear about your first RX1 of the season.
Yep. I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to take some live stream. Depends what time my race compared to the pros. So,
all right, Anthony, when are you returning home? You can be on here next Monday afternoon, right?
Yeah, I'll be back Sunday or Saturday night or something. So yeah, I'll be on here next Monday. You just let me know. We can review DEKA FIT and talk about anything else that's coming up.
Celebrate
I'm
your
sure
podium.
we'll have another list. What's that?
Celebrate your podium.
Yeah. Maybe I can film the DEKA FIT or something.
One of these.
You can at least get pictures for
Can't
me,
see it.
damn it.
One of these nice DEKA.
Oh, the baton? Is that what you get now? Sweet.
Yeah, that's for the relay. Yeah.
Okay. Is that what color baton is that? Is that a bronze one?
That's a bronze. That's a bronze.
Okay.
That
could be. I don't know what position we're gonna do. I hope we do well. It's gonna be tough, but I'm very, very excited. Like, got me on machines all week, making sure that I can hammer what I need to.
All right, gents. Good talk.
All right.